last year, we sort of had our program where students would basically come, and it was called Access AMOCA. And students could come in, we would provide a tour, and then the kids got to kind of be here and experience art and experience what it was like being in a museum. If a student has access to a museum when they're young, then as an adult, they're going to take advantage of that ability to go visit museums and see galleries. And so that's, I think, a lot of what our Access AMOCA is for. And it's also sort of to provide arts education to students who may not have access to it in other places. When we first closed down, last year were in a really fabulous place where we were really excited where we were headed. We kind of had plans for what we were going to be doing for the next 2 to 4 years. And everything was kind of set in stone. And so it was just sort of walking down the path of what we had already planned, which is kind of a nice place to be, right? Because you know where you're headed, you know where you're going. And then when we closed down, originally we thought we were closing for 2 weeks, I believe. And so then 2 weeks ended and we were still closed. And that was sort of a bummer at first. And it was especially a bummer because it meant a lot of our programs were just closed. We couldn't do the programs that we had planned to do. And so it meant a lot of canceling things, a lot of cancellations, a lot of sort of disappointing people who were excited to come here. And so that was kind of hard, right? Because when you're walking down a path and you have everything planned out, to have everything sort of ripped out from under you is not fun. But as we've sort of continued on, I feel like it's actually been really good for the education programs that we have here. Because again, we were having a lot of issues with people who couldn't find transportation. So with access, right? We wanted to be able to get this to anybody so that anybody who wanted to be able to come in to see these art pieces, to sort of engage with the artist and have these kinds of conversations, especially younger students who are still learning about the arts. We wanted to be able to reach them with what we're doing here. And so in a way, it sort of forced us to figure out how to do that, right? So not being able to have people come here solves that transportation problem. They can't come here. So we get to go to them.
Hi, my name is Mike Flower, and I teach ceramics at Crescenta Valley High School. Every year I have about 200 students sign up for our program. And this year, in the year of the pandemic, school's been interesting. And one of the things that I found is such a tremendous resource is the American Museum of Ceramic Art and the education program. Recently, I was able to do a virtual field trip with all 6 of my classes. And we had a great discussion about ceramic artwork, and we really got to take advantage of the resource that is the American Museum of Ceramic Art.
For this year, what our programs look like is we have our sort of synchronous tours in which teachers can sign up online, and they get to sort of have a conversation with a staff member to kind of figure out what works with their students or for their classes. And then they select the time that works for them. We will kind of go through one of the galleries or both if they prefer. And we'll have really in-depth conversations with the students about what's going on in the galleries, what sort of the theme of the exhibition is. We'll analyze specific art pieces. And so we kind of get to have those conversations face-to-face with students and their teachers. And so that's been really fun. The other opportunity that we've had this year for teachers who would like to kind of have a tour virtually is sort of our asynchronous option. So what that means is teachers can kind of sign up online. They receive a link for sort of our online tours, and those tours have images of the art piece as well as sort of where they'd be located in the gallery. A little bit of background information that they would have received sort of from an in-person tour. So they still sort of get that information. It's just packeted in a different way, so it's manageable for that. So teachers are welcome to either take that and they with their class are welcome to go through that, or if they want to download it and send it to their students, so their students can kind of go through that tour on their own time and then they can discuss at the class. That's also available. It's fantastic also because it means that we can send it to students who have internet access, but if they don't have internet access, it's something that the teacher can download maybe onto like a thumb drive or something and hand out to the students directly, so that you don't necessarily need to have internet access for your students to have access to sort of that portion of our tours. So it's kind of been cool to see how putting our programs online has allowed for access in ways that it might not have before. And so that's been really exciting this year. I've kind of enjoyed that.
As a high school ceramics teacher, virtual field trips have been kind of a lifesaver. I really found myself in a place where I just needed to do something other than what I'd been doing. And I got to take all my students on a virtual field trip to AMOCA over 2 days. It gave me a nice opportunity to catch my breath as a teacher. But more than that, I got to share some of the great artwork in the collection with my high schoolers, and they got to see just ceramic artwork. Instead of mugs and bowls, they got to really dive deep and talk about ceramic art.
And so in the big sense, it's been really hard and difficult because of that shift, right? We knew what our plan was, we knew where we were going, and we sort of had the rug pulled out from under our feet as we sort of continued through this year with this closure. But in the other sense, it's been actually kind of inspiring and good for us in a way, because it meant that struggle with access that we were having, people who can't come here, right? So we created programs to go to the people, and that solves that problem of access. So all of a sudden, we're getting, last year, over the course of 10 months, we had 1,750 people sign up for tours. This year, it's been 3 months, and we've already hit the 2,000 mark, which is just kind of mind-blowing. So yay, super celebration, excitement. And so it's just been wonderful to see how different people have sort of come together to make this program happen.